A long, long time ago in a galaxy. Wait, wrong script. Let's start over. A long, long time ago, in 17th century England, there was an extremely hardcore explorer called Gulliver. Well, he wasn't really hardcore, and he wasn't really an explorer. Gulliver was just a surgeon who was caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he only did so after his business completely failed. Anyways, Gulliver was on board a ship that just happened to get shipwrecked, as all good exploration novels go. After swimming and drifting for about a few days, our protagonist finds himself stranded on a small uncharted island surrounded by tiny little midget people. Actually, they weren't midget people. They were actually scaled down normal people. At first, they didn't like him because he tried to kill them. But then he started to calm down and they gave him food and water and wine and other good stuff. In return for their kindness, Gulliver helped the Emperor of the land of Lilliput to completely and utterly dominate his rival, the Emperor of Blefuscu. The two kingdoms are at war based on their strong belief on the proper way to crack an egg. Gulliver, using his massive strength, pulled in the entire fleet of Blefuscu and brought them back to Lilliput. Another few days later, the royal palace catches on fire, and no one can manage to put it out. Not helping his already negative image of himself, Gulliver unwisely decides to put out the fire with more unconventional means. Shortly afterwards, the advisors of the Emperor's court decide to have Gulliver executed. However, no one has any idea of what to do with him after he died. Some suggested to bury him out at sea, others suggested an acid bath. Ridiculous, really. Eventually, the advisors decided that it would be best to kill Gulliver by stabbing him in the eyes and starving him, then cutting his flesh off of his body and disposing it of small pieces. Good stuff. Gulliver gets wind of this and tries to escape to Blefuscu, the nation whose navy was stolen by him, and he seeks shelter. However, the Emperor of Blefuscu was kind enough to give Gulliver the time to repair an old canoe he found, and Gulliver sailed off to be rescued by another ship, which took him home. Less than a year later, Gulliver sets sail again, and after an attack by pirates, ends up in Laputa, where a floating island inhabited by theoreticians and academics oppresses the land below, called ORB. There, he finally meets people not larger and not smaller than him. These people that he met just love scientific research. The research that takes place has no moral or lawful restrictions. The scientific research undertaken in Laputa and Baldibarbi seems totally inane and impractical, and its residents too appear wholly out of touch with reality.
It'd be funny if I could walk into
Such
the water, but it's too
experiments
cold to do
include
that.
trying to extract sunbeams from cucumbers and trying to turn excrement back into food. While these scientists experiment within the academy walls, the citizens outside starve to death. Taking a short side trip to Glub Dub Trip, Gulliver is able to witness the conjuring up of figures from history, such as Julius Caesar and other military leaders, whom he finds much less impressive than in books. After visiting the Lugnarians and the Strodbergs, the latter of which are senile immortals who prove that age does not bring wisdom, is able to sail back to Japan, and from there back to England.
Finally, on his fourth journey, less than a year later, Gulliver sets out as captain of his ship, but after the mutiny of his crew and a long confinement in his cabin, he arrives in an unknown land. The first creatures Gulliver meets are human-like beasts called Yahoos. This land is mainly populated by Houyhnhnms, rational thinking forces of rule, as well as by the Yahoos that Gulliver has met previously. Gulliver sets about learning the Houyhnhnms language, and when he can speak, he narrates his voyages to them and explains the Constitution of England. He is treated with great courtesy and kindness by the horses, and is enlightened by his many conversations with them, and by his exposure to their noble culture. He wants to stay with the humans, but his bared body reveals to the horses that he is very much like a Yahoo, and he is banished. Gulliver is grief-stricken but agrees to leave. He fashions a canoe and makes his way to a nearby island, where he is picked up by a Portuguese ship captain who treats him well, though Gulliver cannot help now seeing the captain and all humans as shamefully Yahoo-like. Upon returning home, Gulliver is repulsed by all humans, seeing them all as Yahoos. He buys himself a horse to converse with them daily, and finds talking to them to be more enjoyable than going outside. Gulliver then concludes his narrative with a claim that the lands he has visited belong by rights to England as her colonies, even though he questions the whole idea of colonialism.
And that's the end of Gulliver's Travels, Where You Dropped on Your Head as a Child edition. I hope you enjoyed this video.